Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to UKSM at Insomnia. We're getting up to speed with the second portion of our Shantae block with Turkey. Remember, before we start this run, donate to Special Effect. They need money for gaming peripherals for disabled children. It is probably one of the most wholesome things you could ever donate to. So please, if you have deep pockets, dig a little bit deeper.
Okay, round 2. Let's do some redemption running as we move on to Pirate's Curse. It is the third one in the series. So, if we're ready on timer, let's give it a go. 3, 2, 1, go. Right, so Pirate's Curse, as mentioned, is the third in the chronological series. After the events of Risky's Revenge, Shantae actually loses her genie powers, so she's full human going into this game. As a result, we don't have any magical powers, we don't have any animal transformations or anything like that. What we have in its place are the Pirate Master's equipment, which is where Pirate Mode comes in. Because Pirate Mode is essentially a new game plus, so we start off with all of the Pirate Master's equipment instead of having to locate them in each of the respective dungeons. So we could just fly around quite a bit. Right, let's get this first part out of the way, hoping on a bit of RNG, not mandatory but would be nice. It's a shame. Right, so this is pretty much just an opening section where we could just do a little bit of a tutorial well, say it's a little bit of a tutorial aspect. So there's not much going on. There's going to be a quick little risky shuffle, which I'm going to mention a little more on a little bit on. But for the remainder of this area, I'm just going to briefly talk about the opening boss, which is actually the Ammo Baron, who starts this run off for bosses. And he could do one of 3 things. He could charge, he could shoot a regular cannonball, or he can shoot a red cannonball at you. We're looking for the red cannonball, but there's a few things that we do know. We know that if he fires if he charges, he can only do 4 charges in a given cycle. If he fires a regular cannonball, he can only do 2 in any given round. And if we get a red, that'll be nice. Now, there's a thing I usually do on stream, which coincidentally works, so I'm going to give Ammo Baron a bit of baby talk. Oh, that's not working. Oh, God. Oh, no. Stop it. Baby talk fail. Help me. I've got nothing else. Right, so I know he's going straight into that. Right, so that worked out okay. Not the best start, but we'll take it. Hopefully no charges for round 2. Oh, brilliant. Straight red, so as long as I get enough damage, he will not charge on this last phase, and he should be down any moment. 1 cannonball later. Alright, that's the Ammo Baron. Baby talk, you failed me. Yeah, it's a weird thing. I do baby talk with this boss, and it actually works more times than not. Don't ask why, it does. It's a weird strat. Alright, so now we're treated to a bit of a cutscene going on where, as it turned out, the mayor actually sold the town to Ammo Baron in the previous game for a box of waxy chocolates. So the Ammo Baron actually owns the deed to this town, and we've just attacked this mayor, technically. So we have been sentenced to disaster of snipping of our hair, which would be a very big problem for Shantae. We really don't want to have a haircut today, otherwise I ain't got no offense. So a nice relaxing bubble bath. And it's at this precise moment that Shantae realised that she doesn't actually own a bathtub. So this is Trap Tub. Say hello. Shout out to Trap Tub. Planted there by our good villainous Risky Boots once again. The Pirate Queen of the 7 Seas, who is wondering why we have one of her men in Uncle Mimic's workshop. Now, at this point of the game, we don't actually know why, but it's then treated to this ominous little bit of matter, which turns it into a nice cackleback. Scream! So we just got to take it down just to get things on the go. So hopefully this should be 1, 2, delay 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4, and down. And you may see a cackleback or 2 as we go through this, but that'll be the only one I'll be killing, as it's the only one in route, as being any percent. This category is generally also known as out of bounds, or OOB. So there's going to be several things I'm going to be doing by using healing items during screen transitions to kind of mess the game up a little bit. And we'll see when we come to them, which shouldn't be too far off. A nice quick door there. Double upping under the door gets you through. And hey, Sky, we're going to borrow Sky's library card so we can actually get to the library. So we're looking for something in there in particular. Hopefully the guard won't realise that we don't have blonde hair. Safety save! No, this is actually a mandatory save. We have to both get the library card and save before the guard will let us out of the town. So we're going to get one of our first examples of the risky shuffle by holding left on the D-pad, pressing and holding left on the D-pad and tapping right on the analog stick. We could essentially trick the game into believing we're doing one continuous walk string, which is what you're supposed to do in order to gain a charge to be able to trigger this dash animation. And we use that in quite a lot of spaces just so we can speed things up. RNG's not on my side. You notice I've been hitting every enemy. I've been hoping for some drops. Bento box, that's alright. Not the best item I could have, but I will take it. Hey, Squid Baron. So, Squid Baron's here. He's in the dumps. He's one of the main bosses in the previous game, and now he's just sort of relegated to just someone on the side. So one of the things I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a bit of manipulation by simultaneously between the snake and the ceiling. Because of the short roof frame, it actually kills the snake multiple times, and for each kill it gives me a 50-50 chance of getting one of these flash pops. Now I need a minimum, usually of 7. 3 as part of progression in general, and the other 4 are used for out-of-bounds tricks. If I have any more than that, I can use them for another little thing known as animation skipping, but I'll have to see how my item management goes as we progress on with the run. And I lost count of how many flash pops I got, but it looked like I got a fair bit. I've at least got the 3 for Bolo here to feed the zombie kids he's been babysitting. And because I had the pistol freight from the get-go, I could come over here and speak to good old Squid Baron, and I'll give him a brochure, just to give him something a little bit to do. You know, as I say, he's not feeling too good about himself, so we're going to send him on vacation, and in return we get some squid oil. Right, so we've got the key originally from Bolo, after we gave the flash pops off, to get into here where the library is. I destroy your candlesticks. No reason. Just destroy your candlesticks. Right, so, hey dude, here's my summons. Can I get my map now? And here we go. So we have the Forbidden Isles map, which allows us to access the next island, better known as Saliva Island. Oh, you put the candlesticks back up, I take them back down. Apparently stuff is funny and I don't know what. Is this an inside joke? What?
Watch it later.
Oh. I think they're doing something funny to me. Don't think you can really do much more funny than my face, to be fair, but there we go. Okay. So anyway, whilst I had a bit of distraction going on there, I'm going to drop off the library card back, so we get 100 monies in return for it, getting us to 168. And now I'm going to do my first shop. Just get a couple of potions, a set of flares, and a super pipe ball. The potions are going to be used for out-of-bound animation tricks. And we're going to use certain other things for certain other points. Flares will be much later on. As we now enter Saliva Island. Now, this is where the fun begins. And we get to do some out-of-bound trickery. So, hopefully, this won't go wrong. The thing with out-of-bounds in this game, if you go wrong and you fall too low, you will end up soft-locking the game. So if I end up messing up any out-of-bounds trick, this could pretty much be GG. So this is the first one. And now all of a sudden we can just fall through the floor and enter the first lab of the game. Right, a little bit of RNG would be nice here, unfortunately not so much. Alright, so we've had our first little out-of-bounds trick happen. We're going to go into our second one. Right here. To bypass this door. Saves us having to go around collecting keys. I'm going to be picking up a certain amount of gems along the way. I mean, of course, because I've already got the Pirate Master's equipment, I don't need to traverse these dungeons in order to find any of them about, really. So there is traditionally a out-of-bounds trick here. I'm not going to do it for safety aspects. The trick itself isn't necessarily too bad, but it involves me using my auto potion, which is given to me for free at the beginning of the run. And that would just replenish my health should I take a death. So just having that in backup probably going to make things a bit more relaxed going in. And an early bubble shield, that's very nice actually. Bubble shield is one of the key items I'm looking for. Normally it's a little bit later, but I need it for the end game, the end boss realistically. Otherwise the end boss could essentially one-shot us. More on that later. So first up, our first main boss from the dungeons is Cyclops Plant. Now hopefully, don't blink, we're going to do something a little bit fun here. Oh, no we're not, we're going to get hit. Second time, I'll take it. So using the scimitar pins between the sea, we can do high damage. We're going to be doing the same thing here. And he should go down pretty much now. Oh, that was a pretty good fight, to be fair. So we're off to the races. Right, so these labs are known in the game in general, are known as the Dens of Evil. This is where a certain someone is drawing his dark magic around and infesting the other Tinkerbats. And this is why Risky Boots is teaming up with us. So a little bit of information I forgot to mention earlier. But yeah, Risky and Shantae are working together in this game as to attacking each other. And it's our first use of a Pirate Flare. What a Pirate Flare does, it takes us right back to where the ship is at the beginning, at the start of each island. So it just saves us traversing back in certain areas. Right, so next up, Spiderweb Island. A bit of a dark area. And home, and I'm going to regret this, to the best part of the game. That's a little something for a certain someone who may or may not be watching. He's probably very happy right now. I'm quite annoyed at myself, but there we go. So we have...
Are we getting a Run Naughty Top's donation incentive?
It was like, can we get an incentive for kicking her?
Sorry?
Can I get an incentive for just kicking her? Hopefully things will go well. I'll probably say, just to put an incentive in, we'll say £5 a death.
Sounds good.
So welcome to Run. I tried to get away, I tried to disappear off screen. Unfortunately, we got to do it, so here we go. Run Rocky Top is pretty much essentially this game's version of an auto-scroller, although it technically isn't. Our health meter is gone, and all we could do is run around with good old Rocky Tops in our hands, because she's told us that she's took a bit of a venomous bite from good old Spider there, and she can't walk. So we have to do her the favour of carrying her around. So, as mentioned, because it's somewhat like an auto-scroller, there's not very many places that you can really save time on. Now, even though I put that incentive in, I'm going to still be a stubborn bird. I'm not stopping for this tongue. Oh, that worked out. But that's one of the things that you can do just to help save a bit of time, is cutting down the side of the tongue. So I unfortunately missed that one. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm doing all right, Run. My bad. I'm going to do a quick shimmy here. So, because if I bypass that first tongue, that shimmy activates that tongue guy right at the bottom. So as I say, there's just a few minimal things that we can do to save some time in this area. Otherwise, we're just following the path. And it's these Super Mario Bros. Spikes that really put it into why we deem it as an auto-scroller, because they're just blocking us. There's not much we can really do. So, yeah. Come on, Rutty. Trying to get you home. Now the thing as well, this area is very long. I mean, getting through this area without any issues is usually like a 4.5 minute section. So please bear with. I'll try and measure a few things as I go. Spikes be gone. Thank you. Ah! That tongue scared me a little. Right, so now we're in a room with an enemy known as Fake Graves. Now, we know there's only certain graves that have the potential to stand up. We know which ones they are. As to whether they actually do stand up, or even as to when they stand up, is entirely up to them. So there is some RNG to it, but because we know which ones will stand and which ones won't, we can just avoid them. Stake jump. Getting a little risky there, despite the incentive. I'll do one more. Ah! There we go. Yeah, for some reason those hands are not fully activated. So now we have weird Cyclops guys, better known as the kissy bots. If you pay attention to their lips, they're actually they're trying to kiss you, quite literally. No. If I'm not going to let a starfish hug me, I'm not going to let a Cyclops kiss me. I mean, this room is actually one of the easier parts of this particular section. However, taking a hit in here, especially near the end, is one of the biggest time consumptions or time losses within Run Run Rocky Tops. And now for something a little more relaxing. A nice straightforward room with a couple of fake graves and nothing more. Oh, hello. Almost had me there. Cheeky boy. Right, so now we get introduced to another enemy, which has been dubbed by the community as the Stevens. They are big Stevens that shoot out these little mini Stevens. And the reason why we generally call them the Stevens is because the other name is not what you would call marathon friendly. Let's leave it at that. Oh, gates of hell are open. And that's just mainly the spike cycle being in the right spot. I'm going to go for what's known as the Tucker Hop. We're doing very well. We're into the final room of Run Run, where they're going to pretty much just throw everything at me now. Just take my knowledge in. Try not to take hits, because this is another room that could really cost time. I'm going to try and best the cycle a little bit here. 1, 2, 3, and go. 1, 2, 3, and go. And that'll just avoid that spike pattern. Last stretch. My apologies, special effect. It seems I'm running well right now. And that's the end of Run Run. Bit of a contrast compared to the original run. Or the first run I did. Just a little. Right, so. Bit of news. Turns out Rocky Tops was lying. She was never hurt. She could have walked all this time. But she was just being lazy and wanted us to hold her in her arms, so we did her that favour. Right, oh, hey, I'm not even close enough. Hey, Po. Right, so this is one of Rocky Top's brothers. Squid Oil we got much earlier on because we was able to, well, just deal with it sooner rather than later because we had the Prime Master equipment. We give to him to help him repair his wagon, and now he's going to give us a lift back to the other side of the island that we was just on. And he's going to give us a little gift. Now, I promise to be PG. This is not my fault. Because, as the game says, we get a shriveled thing. And it smells. Sorry. Yeah, go on.
Okay, so 2 new donations. One from Look No Further, £10. He says, I know it's 420, but stop buying weed and donate instead. And then Nori, £100. Well, I was going to match your incentive, but you did it flawless. Here's a donation for being too good a gamer and denying charity.
Okay, good. Right, so that was the first example of food floating. Another about trick by using food. So there's 2 different properties. One by using potions, which allows you to fall through scenery. The other one allows you to fly.
Nori just donated £100.
Oh, wow. GG, sir. I'll explain a bit more on the food float in a bit. We're going into our next boss fight. The Emperor's Spy. This is not the reason why I want to keep your motion back. So I'm going to go essentially a game of chicken to go for the quick kill by doing a technique known as stun locking. Oh, got knocked down. Okay, I'm going to take it a little easy just to make sure I don't. So I mean, I may have the auto potion, but I'd rather not use it. Oh wow! I'm fading my stun loss. Okay, that'll do. We just about survived in that. The idea is by whipping your hair just after you take damage, Shantae will go into a stun animation. As a result, this also replenishes your cannon strike loadout. You're only supposed to have 3 cannons in your loadout. So thanks to that, we're able to just constantly stay in the same box and deal as much damage as humanly possible. Okay, so far so good. Yeah, as I was going to mention with free floating, when you're in a free float state, when you hit the jump button, Shantae will just go up. And as long as you can try in the right way and hit the right modes, you can pretty much just bypass certain aspects and speed up certain vertical rooms. So as we come into the desert zone, I was going to say Tassel Town, but that was the previous game. In fact, I've actually forgot what the name of this area is. Thank you. Oh wow, wait! Right, so here comes an important part for this run for me and in general. Another part of the game is always going to be RNG. I must not forget this item that I'm supposed to be going for. But at this point, item RNG starts to become important. I'll be trying to keep a note mentally of the type of items I get, how many of them I get, and I'll be using that to plan ahead, so I know what items I can use on which bosses without putting myself in a bad position to save as much time as humanly possible. And depending on what drops, that could change my thought process throughout. Okay, I've got a super pipe ball and a regular milk, so that's not a bad start for RNG. And use some more risky shuffling to get up and over. So traditionally, for anyone who's played this game, there's, the next part would be Tanline Temple, which is a stealth section of the run. But this is out of bounds. So we are just going to skip it. And by doing that, or to do that, we're going to phase through a wall and go through a floor. I'm going to jump back into the low zone, but I'm going to have a block that's obstructing me. And just getting the right timing on my jumping attack of my pistol, I should be able to break the block from underneath and be able to progress on while skipping the island. Okay, that should be good. We'll just fall into the zone now. Come back in. Oh, there we go. My thumb kind of twisted off a little bit there. But now that's pretty much Tanline Temple done. We don't have to, skip. We don't have to worry about that. But we do still have the Lost Catacombs, which is the next main den of evil. Oh, as if I actually got a frame perfect, well, a near frame perfect trick. I'm not quite sure if it's frame perfect or near, called Momentumless Boots. If you can hit the direction you're going a frame after you jump, you can keep your momentum as you're going forward. So that I was nice to actually get that. Okay, so in the Lost Catacombs now. I wouldn't mind a couple more items. So I'm going to prey on these little green cacti, which could drop a monster milk or a bubble shield. I'm hoping for a monster milk, preferably. No such dice. Oh god, what's going on? What's going on? Ah! Alright, so into Gauntlet Room. Just a bunch of enemies. Should be okay. Oh, I should be doing a risky shuffle here. Oh, fail! That was a fail. Okay, I've lost my auto potion. I'll have to account for that. Good RNG. Good RNG. Right, this room, I'm actually going to try and get a one-cycle crusher by using butt wiggling strats. 1, butt wiggle, 2, butt wiggle, 3, butt wiggle, 4. Back, forth, in. I was a bit late, unfortunately. So I know I'm not going to make that. There's a particular visual cue that I generally use in order to determine when that would be. Right, so I've got to be a little careful going on to the next section, but item RNG's been pretty nice to me, to be fair. I'll just have to keep 1 or 2 things in mind to keep myself alive now. So Squid Baron, just like in Half Genie Hero, he's actually a scripted fight, but I want to keep him on a particular point of the script, if I can. So I want him to begin the second part of the fight in eating phase. So I'm just going to make sure to score enough damage with the buffs I got. It shouldn't really be too bad. There we go. So he'll go into ED phase at the beginning of the next phase. Welcome to Squid Baron 2.0. He has sparklers. He means business. Suit of armor. Ready to go. No. Absolute deny. So I know he's going to go straight into eating, so I can just stand here and wail on him a bit. Because I'm not using the max buffs, I know he's going to go into dashing right away. So I'll just position myself well. He should die around now. And that's, to be fair, for the items I was using, that was a pretty optimal fight. Okay. So now this is where the cogs are going to be turning in my mind, hopefully. Because I need to now think about what I've got, what items I still need realistically to deal with every remaining boss, as well as how much each item is going to cost me. So I'll be basing my gem routing off of that. Maybe there'll be a bit more RNG luck, but in all fairness, based on what I do have, I probably only need one more item to pretty much do this. So the RNG was pretty favourable today. I'll go do a quick shop. In fact, my memory was a bit off there, so we'll just grab some more potions. Okay, at least show off animation skipping with that. I actually thought I had 10 more gems. I was going to pick up the item I was looking for. But never mind. So we come back to this island first because we need to speak to Bolo. He's usually the village idiot of this game, but give him a pair of X-ray specs. He turns to a genius and deciphers a fossil that we got much earlier on in the run as this death mask. Now we need this to get into what's known as the Village of Lost Souls, which is at Mudbog Island, the next island we are going to. And going back there's the reason why I chose, obviously didn't come into here first. This area can be a casual's nightmare. Fortunately with the equipment that we have, as long as I maintain the same pattern that I generally do, we should be okay. So 1, 2, cannon glide, and just a nice simple glide off. Okay, so far so good. There will be a momentumless boost potential coming up. If I can get a 2 in this run, that will be silly. Oh my! As if. Okay, so I've got 2 momentumless boosts. What's going on? Right, I'm going to try and get an item drop potential just from these beetles. Have a chance of dropping a monster milk for me. Unfortunately not. So we put on the death mask. This guy now believes we are dead. And on we go. We now have entrance to the Village of Lost Souls. This area does have a few tough enemies in it that could do some good damage, so as long as I don't take anything, then we should be fine. But because I've got additional potions, I'm going to be showing off what is known as animation skipping, which is basically overriding items. So instead of waiting for the animation of the coin to take place, I could jump on top and drink a potion in its place, which will just save me the time of waiting for the animation of you got the coin, which is about 2 to 3 seconds roughly. I will probably grab a couple of gems as a safeguard, but these coins that we're collecting now is for one of the most skillful parts of the run, which is basically those 3 guys, the gamers. They're going to be challenging us to a very intense game of heads and tails. Now, oh, did I say skill? I meant luck. It's RNG. So it's literally up to the game how it goes. The idea is to get 3 correct answers in a row. We generally always select heads because that's the option that we start on. So we're looking to get 3 heads in a row, hopefully. For every time it gives us the tails, we have to go back to the first of the 3 gamers and restart again. Hopefully, that won't happen too often. And hopefully it won't happen on the red gamer constantly either, because that's where the time waste can become a thing. Okay, welcome to the gamers, and here comes that intense game of heads and tails. Pick a size! I go heads! Oh, heads. Okay, so good start. Go on, perfect RNG. Hey! That's it! This run's being super nice all of a sudden. Okay, trust me, that don't normally happen. Usually that red game would normally just go, no. Does she look familiar to anyone? No. Doesn't remind me of nobody. Pretty sure. So yeah, we got the locket from the gamers to give to that random person, who is also known as Healthy Tops, to get the flame to put here. Now we're going to have a mysterious man just randomly show up so we can take his manly musk. Because apparently it seems that you're not allowed to have access to the next dungeon unless you're a smelly person. Unfortunately, being a nice smelling lady means nothing to them. So we have to get the manly musk and gain entrance up in here. Now the risky shuffle which has been used throughout this entire run so far, that particular method is what breaks this particular dungeon up dramatically. Because we can use the risky shuffle, we can actually go straight to the boss, effectively cutting out a good 85 to 90% worth of this dungeon, if not a little more. Apart from that, that's pretty much all what this dungeon is. I'm just going to be just getting myself into the central hub of the area. Well, I say hub, it's just like one room. And do a risky shuffle here to just dash right through and go straight to the next boss. His name is Dagron, massively misspelled monstrosity, as you can tell possibly by the name. I probably shouldn't have used the milk there, but okay, that's fine. Should be fine. So I'm going to have to go a bit quick, so I need to listen to a sound cue for when he comes in. When he roars, that's an indication of when he's coming in, and he can either go long or short. Ah, too late. That should be it. Okay, good fight. Not bad. But yeah, he pretty much just comes left and right, and you just have to gauge his trajectory and then just take him down and just beat the hell out of him. Right, so 3 Dens of Evil down. Wait, have I counted right? No, that's Den of Evil 4. We get the Frostbite Island map up and ready. So you may notice after every area I've been using the flare to get straight back to the ship, but the thing is, flares cannot be used in an indoor terrain, which this particular part, the Village of Lost Souls, is classed as an indoor section. So I've actually got to just make my way back out so I can use the flare to traverse all the way through. Now what we got from that mysterious man for completing that dungeon was a lost soul. We don't know who it belongs to, but I have a sneaky suspicion there's a group of zombies that may have the answer. But we'll deal with that a little bit later. We don't need to worry about it just yet. Right, off to Frostbite, from the depths of hell to the snowy mountains. So from hot to cold, temperature is weird. Right, so as long as I can keep myself airborne well enough, I should be able to maintain my dash throughout this section. There are these wolf enemies that I'll be taking out in general. Die, Barney, die! Unfortunately, yeah, don't worry, that was just a little tick of mine. But those wolves I'll be killing from this point on for the most part to try and get a lucky drop to save me going back to the shop. If they don't give me the drop, then I will take the shop to deal with what I'm requiring. I only need 1 item, I believe, to deal with the remainder of this run. They have a chance to drop either a Super Monster Milk or a Super Pipe Ball. However, their potential chances of dropping them are below 3%. It's more likely that they're either going to give me nothing or 5 gems. But if they do have to give me a Super Monster Milk, that would be awesome. Super Monster, just give me milk now. Just give me milk now. Ah, never mind. No, it's about all, but we've got enough gems to go to the shop and purchase that milk anyway, so it's not the biggest of deals, at least. Oh, bonk me head a little bit. Right, and the further up we go, the clearer the sky becomes. Weather, I have no idea. Right, so now we get to do another out of bounds trick, and this is where you'll be able to see what free floating really does. Wingardium Leviosa. Hey, Shantae. Then push back into the loading zone. We are all set. That pretty much just effectively skips the majority of this area. We can come straight over here. It turns out Bolo's working for a Techno Baron, which was the little green guy that we bypassed speaker to ammo. But now we got what we want. We can go. He's basically built a targeting module for a cannon that they want to fire off at the Royal Palace. Which was pretty much where we was at the very beginning of the run, where we got the first map. I've just got to make a quick detour back here because we do have this lost soul we still need to decipher. And as mentioned, zombies apparently just seem to know about these things. So we should be able to figure out who it belongs to. Could you just catch a ride? Thank you. Right, in we go. So, can you help me out, guys? Do you know who this all belongs to? It's the spirit of Joe with a funky fresh mustache. Who's Joe, you're probably asking? Well, you wouldn't have seen him because a particular part we skipped earlier skips out a cutscene that he's usually a part of. So, we didn't actually get to see him bite the dust, but in a nutshell, he's dating Sky and he got petrified by Sky's dad. In other words, don't mess with Sky's dad. Right, as long as I'm remembering my item management pretty well, we should pretty much be set. I shouldn't need to hit any more enemies. We should be fine. I've just got to pick up or do with two things to return. So Ammo Baron's team will return back to him. Oh, hey. No hard squid of shame. No. Naughty. So we need to return his men back to him before he will use the targeting module. The first one over here is just over here. Oh, baby. Nori, I'm sure you're proud of me right now because you know what I just got. So this is Twitch of Vinegar. As we give the enchanted sword to someone who resembles absolutely no one from TV. As we're just going to conspicuously place a flare down here and, yeah.
Helpbuster!
Right, so that's the first part out of the way. And this is Joe, he's turned to stone. So we'll give him his soul back. He will return. And turns out he's had a lot of time to think. Plenty more fish in the sea. He no longer wants to date Sky. Please don't hurt me, Sky. But we're good friends. I really don't want to be turned to stone. Let's go. Right, now we can speak to Ammo Baron and give him the module. And now they'll set off the cannon to target the Royal Palace right at the end. And they're a little bit off target. Thankfully, they had the village idiot on their team who targeted it for us, so that was a good thing, because that's now the entrance to our next Den of Evil. Right, just going to dip into the shop and pick up what I finally remain. I just want to make sure. Yeah, okay. Pretty certain all I require now is a super milk to deal with the final two bosses. I believe I've got one extra piece of food in general. Oh, wrong way. That's going to be the long way round. So I should be able to keep myself safe should I run into any risk of death. Die, body, die! I'll explain pretty much after this why I'm shouting at that particular wolf. It seems a little weird that I'm doing it now. But welcome to the Abandoned Factory, the final main Den of Evil. I'm going to be going for a couple of out-of-bounds tricks to bypass. Because of a certain one, I will take a safety save. Because one set of out-of-bounds tricks involves me actually doing two tricks within the same boundaries. So the first turn, we're just going to fall through the floor using a potion. And touch into the slow zone here. Now I'm going to go quiet and I'll explain it a bit after what we're doing. Okay, we're good. Sorry. Right, so basically with that trick, we're using a food float to float all the way up. I'm actually using a hair whip to put Shantae in a walking animation, and then to do the dashes, and then use the potion in order to fall back through the floor. And oh, wow. Thank you, RNG. Welcome to Steel Maggot. Now, this boss fight is basically RNG, the boss. He has 3 buttons on his back, and what the pattern... Oh, that's perfect RNG. Oh, my God. Oh, God. Sorry. This is ridiculous right now. Okay, Maggot dead. Basically, he's supposed to be random to what pattern he can have. But if you hit a wrong button, he'll do a bullet spread attack, which is easily avoidable. But Fortunately, the same combination of 3 buttons will always be the same until you expose the tail at his back end by hitting the correct combination. And the fact that that was just... Why is RNG so nice? Thought I'd never say that. Now we have the Lonely Grave map. Because throughout all the Dens of Evil, what we've been doing, we've been trying to cut off the Pirate Master's source of energy. And the Pirate Master used to be Risky Boots' former commander, essentially, or she was his first mate, who decided to pull a mutiny on him after the Great Genie War. And now he's been showing signs of coming back. She wants to put a stop to it, and this is pretty much why she's opted to team up with Shantae. So we're just going to make our way to the grave to make sure that, all is good. Pirate Master's nothing to worry about. Shoot Seagull. Get out of the way. See, Risky? Nothing wrong at all. Oh, spoke too soon. Say hello to Pirate Master. He's a little upset, and rightly so, because, Risky pretty much taught the genies or gave him a method on how to seal him away. So he's very angry at her, and now he wants his revenge. So that just leaves us to finish up pretty much as we make our way back into Scuttletown, which has now gotten very dark as the Pirate Master has taken over the Royal Palace. It's now his palace. And this is now a final mad dash to the end of the game. There is one more out-of-bounds trick to go. I'll pray to everything that I don't mess it up, because a softlock right at the end would be painful. But I'm going to try and go for an up and over here. That'll do. I was hoping to evade the enemies as well, but luckily there's a bit of leniency to that. So we'll have one more final food float to reach the final boss of this game. So I'm just going to quiet just because I really don't want a softlock now. Let's have a different animation. Should be good. Alright, we're good. Right, so Pirate Master usually, if you was to do the true ending by collecting all the dark magic, it would come in 4 phases. Because we're doing any percent, there's only 1 phase, and he's very straightforward. He will pretty much teleport from side to side, as well as the middle, and he'll pretty much choose his own pattern. He'll do about 4 teleports before he will go from side to side and start firing off some bubbles. And that's the reason why I wanted the bubble shield, because if, for whatever reason, he hits me with a projectile, based on only having 2 hearts in the run, he will kill me. Right, time will be coming up on the final hit of Pirate Master. I don't think I'm going to get enough damage in during these pedestals. So he'll be on the floor by the time I go for the final kill. Right, ready on time. Time. In terms of a feeling, that was a complete reversal of Half Genie Hero. That felt like it was a good run. I'm going to actually guess it's somewhere in the 42s. 15. That's actually, with the safeties I took, that's actually very good. If without the safeties, that would have been closer to probably a mid to high 41 time, which is very nicely done. I could have gone probably a little faster with the RNG I had, but after what happened with Half Genie Hero, I'm very happy with that. I'm glad one run has finally gone right for me at the moment. Well, again, to the community, I mean, to everyone here as well, I mean, to be fair, the audience behind me, after what they witnessed with the first run, still clapping, showing support. Very, very grateful on that, because I don't know, I'm not very good at talking, as we've established, but just a shout out to everyone, to Insomnia, to UKSM, to the Discord, to Nori for that huge donation as well, and obviously a few others there, like Moni and Trent, who I know will be around about. I'm sure I'm missing a few names, I apologise, but my mind is burnt, and I think it's about time we end this run, because I think I might have already missed my train anyway. But, oh well!
Well, on that note, that brings us to the end of our final run on the second day of UKSM. We will be back once again at 10 AM tomorrow, so if you're around right now, make sure you're around then for another day of incredible speedrunning. Before we do end the stream, I do just want to say once again, thank you to Nori for that incredible £100 donation. Honestly, it means the world to us, to Special Effect, and to those disabled children that it will no doubt help in the future. So seriously, thank you. And on that note, it's time to end the stream. See you all tomorrow.